Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Expert. And I'm so excited today to have Teresa, my co-host, with me, and our guest today, too, because we're going to be talking about something that is pretty much the hot topic right now. It's something everybody wants to talk about. Everybody has an opinion about, right? So I know you're going to love what our expert has to say today. So we want to encourage you to make sure that you connect with her. And if you have any questions when you're listening to this video, if we didn't cover them, then just write in the comments below any questions you have. She'll be more than happy to answer them. So Teresa, could tell everybody a little bit about our guest.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Patty. Today we are talking about your biggest investment, which is real estate with Cristobal. Christine is one of the founders of the Century 21 Showcase Realtors, which is a majority woman-owned business. Christine puts a lot of time in leading her teams of realtors in all 5 of her locations spanning 3 counties. Christine has earned multiple Masters in Quality awards for outstanding service and is a top producer in California. Christine's goal is to lead the real estate industry into the future. Reputation and ethical standards is her #1 superpower. Christine and her team don't simply focus on facilitating a transaction. Her and her agents believe in the value of delivering extraordinary experiences by defying mediocrity and always giving their clients their best. Attention to detail is first on Christine's list. Christine likens her role as similar to being a conductor in a symphony, as she spends her day coordinating all the parts of the process. Her role as owner, salesperson, buyer's advocate, problem solver, analyst, business manager, consultant, negotiator, and marketer, just to name a few. All this together creates a perfect storm for success for her and her clients. So Christine, so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Glad to make it.
I love it. You know, it is. That's right. It is a hot topic, right? It's a topic that everybody wants to know. And, you know, for those of you that are listening, after listening to Teresa introduce Christine, it's pretty clear that this girl knows what she's talking about, right? That you're not getting your information from somebody who decided, oh, wow, real estate's a hot market. I think I'll go on my real estate license, right?
Yeah.
No, we're talking about somebody who's been in the trenches. She's seen the cycles of real estate go by, and she knows what she's talking about because she is walking the talk, right? And I think that is really, really important. So I got to tell you, before we jump in, Christine, is there anything that just off the top of your head that you would really like to really say to the people who are listening this video about really what is going on in the real estate market right now? What is the things that they need to know, the questions they need to ask, right? Everybody wants to run out and sell now, but they don't really, you know, like what is it that they should be asking themselves? Like, go ahead and let us have it.
Well, actually lots of things. First of all, I'm not going to say it's a crazy market. It's a market where you need a qualified individual who's been through all the different markets. Like for myself and my company, I have agents that have been in the business 40 years. I personally been in it 22 years. So it's a matter of not panicking, doing what's best for you and your family. And if you want to sell and buy something else, I mean, between the new propositions that are out for 55 and older and transferring your tax basis to being a move-up buyer and getting maximum amount of dollar you can for your house while the interest rates are still very reasonable. It's all about sitting down with the right person, strategizing, planning, and making connecting the dots to make it all work for you.
Wow.
That really makes a lot of sense, because I know a lot of times, you know, having been in the mortgage industry before I was in marketing, I have to say that a lot of times people get information talking to their neighbor when they're taking out their trash or sitting having coffee with somebody, and somebody tells them something, all of a sudden they think that's really what it is. So I mean, the reality really is, because as Teresa said, you know, a home is the biggest investment you will ever purchase. Like, don't you want to be getting your information about that investment from an expert? Right? If there's ever a time, right? I mean, never a time to be talking to an expert. This is the time. So
exactly. Google
So thank
searching
you.
on Google searching on the internet, no. Going out and talking to your neighbor, talking to your friend, talking to a person that that's not where you're going to get the most accurate information. It's lining yourself up with a professional who in turn is in touch with the professionals that can direct you with your tax person, direct you with your CPA, direct you with your investor, and just all work together as a team to accomplish your financial goal. Yeah.
Yes, most of us don't even think about the tax ramifications when we're buying, selling. It's a lot to think about.
I think it's important too. Like, I think what's one of the things that I think is really important that people don't think about is, when somebody says, I've heard this so much just in the last few weeks, I have to tell you, people say, well, I bought a couple houses, so I know about real estate. Really? You might have bought in a time when, I don't know about you, but I can remember a time when interest rate was like 10%. So people say, oh my God, interest is going up, whatever. I was like, is it 10%? Because I remember I bought one of my houses when it was 10%. Right. So I think that having somebody that you can talk to that can talk strategy, because, is this your starter home? Are you downsizing now? What's the transition?
Forever home? Exactly.
Right. So, like, what are your options that are the best options for you? And that's why I love all those descriptors, so to speak, those hats you wear that Teresa was sharing, because I got to tell you, when I'm hiring somebody, I want to know that somebody can wear all those hats, because I don't know how to wear all those hats. Right. So you're an expert. So, leading into that, what would you say, Christine, is the number one thing that differentiates you from everybody else in your industry?
There's a lot of number ones, so I have to pick one.
That's okay. Tell them. Go ahead. We'll give you.
Tell us all your number ones, girl.
A lot of it is the longevity of my company as a whole. As the companies that I own have been on the Peninsula and in Santa Cruz County and San Benito County 40 plus years and staying strong, or through all the different things. So we're very well versed and prepared and seasoned to help people through whatever issues or whatever they're trying to achieve, we're able to do. We're also a global company, which there's very few. We're in over 83 countries. So I have a span all over the world to help people out, which is not what every office has. We're big marketers. We do every type of marketing you can think of, because nowadays everybody's computer first. So, and my most precious thing, though, I would say, is my agents, because I do have them, like I said, 40 years. You're getting so much experience when you do any business with any of our agents, whether they're a newer one or an older one, because we all rally together to help everybody out.
Yes. And your reach is far, because I know I wanted to talk to a realtor in Cabo San Lucas, and then within a day she had one calling me. So it's that was really nice.
I think it's really important too, because nowadays, for one person to know everything about everything, especially in a topic like real estate, you really can't. But if you're talking to you and you have these agents and they're sharing their story, and of course, as we all know, every single buyer thinks their story is different than everybody else's, because you've never heard that before, right? That you're going to know how to guide them. Like, you're the guide to guide them to, oh, well, yes, let me get you with XYZ person, because she specializes in that. And that's really, really great that you don't have to go out and interview all these different people and try to find the person who is that specialist in that one thing that makes their situation so different for them, right? That you have actually heard it, you've solved that problem many, many times, and you know just the right person. And the reality is, who wants to tell that story over and over and over again? It's kind of nice to be able to just have one person that you trust, that you build a relationship with. And most people buy more than one house, right, in their life. So really building that relationship with somebody so that, you can help me with my first house and my second house, and when I want to sell it later, and you were a part of that transaction, so I have to say that I think that those that people may not consider, but I'm hoping that after they hear this interview, they're going to go, wow, I hadn't thought of that.
Yes.
And yes, I need to talk to Christine.
Absolutely. Because you want somebody that you're familiar with to do these these transactions and get the help you need, even with lenders. Christine knows the right lender to go to for your needs and things. So yes, very important that you have that relationship with your realtor. So that leads into my question. What is the question that you get asked the most?
What's happening in the market?
Tell us what's happening in the market then.
Everything is happening in the market. It's what's happening is whatever you need to happen in the market. That's what I tell people. It's what you need at this time. You tell me what your goals are. I'm going to sit down and help you meet those goals and those needs.
Oh, actually, I think that's kind of important, right?
Yeah.
You know,
you can't right now. I just really want to encourage people, because what I hear a lot of is, and what I feel sad for is a lot of people said, oh, I'm going to wait because I know we're going to go back to the half price sales, you know, when the market,
I don't think so.
We're not going to, no, because those were based on what we call, probably bad term, but liar loans, where they were saying that there was income there that wasn't. People were getting into adjustable rates that didn't qualify for what it was going to max out at. And they didn't refinance and take advantage of their equity they had. So, I mean, there was just a whole different storm that was brewing that created that market. The market we're in now, these people are locked in on solid loans, low interest rates, payments that they qualified for. So what's going to happen is, I think rates are going to still tick up a little bit, and eventually they'll start to trickle back down. But I feel like you're still going to be getting equity in your homes. There's nowhere that you earn the equity that you earn in home ownership. There's nothing out there that provides a roof over your head, a tax write-off, a savings account, and while you're living in it. There's nothing.
Oh yes, even the financial institutions are recognizing that and snapping up homes.
Yes.
Why it's so hard for,
and we don't want the financial institutions to do that. Sorry for anybody's a financial institution, but it's home ownership for homeowners, for people that are first-time home buyers, you know, retiring out in life, downsizing. It's a gift that you give yourself, and it's a great thing to add to your portfolio when you're trying to build your wealth as you grow as well.
Yes, we live in a very expensive housing market. What do you have any advice for like first-time buyers? You hear a lot of the younger people, oh, I can't afford a home here. What do I do? And then pretty soon you look and they have homes.
They have a home. I always joke. I tell my kids this too. You know, when you buy your first house, you're like, you know, the first couple of months, you're like, oh my God, we're eating beans and rice. That's it. You know, but how are we going to make it happen? But before you know it, there's little money left over. You're fixing up things. Raises come into play. There are first-time home buyer programs. There's first-time home buyer loans. The way that equity is increasing so fast, the person hangs tight for a couple years, and then they can refinance, and they can get rid of the, you know, PMI and just go with a regular 20% down. So there's a lot of, I mean, I could take your whole day talking to you about all the different things, but there's multiple things. There's even down payment assistance programs in the county and in certain cities.
You know, I think one of the things that I think that would be really great if you could touch on is, here's the things that we hear all the time, right? So I know I live in Dallas, right? And so I know that one of the things is here, like you can't even rent a house. like, you know what I mean? Like houses are renting in like a day. Like, you know what I mean? There's lists of people like finding a house to rent. So the rental market is really, really crazy too. So it's a great time to buy another home. You know, like I own 5. I own 5, right? You know, and so having that market is really, really great too. But I also think that having the right person to talk to, so you know what your strategy is, because I know that a lot of times people are thinking, oh my gosh, it's such a great market now, I should sell my house and then I'll just rent a place while I figure out what I'm going to do about buying.
And that's actually, that's kind of smart though. You know why? Because I have people ask me, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? You know, but because the market is so competitive right now, if you sold your house and you're sitting on a lot of cash to put down, and they're not having to make a contingent offer contingent on you selling your home, and you can close quickly, you're going to be the one in first position for getting that property.
Good point, Christine.
So there's so many different scenarios and so many different ways to handle it. And the goal is to put, a lot of times you can sell your house and do a rent back from the this buyers for a couple of
Mhm.
months and you have that cash, and you can go out and buy something. So there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of different ways you can achieve your goal.
Yes.
Well,
'cause we can-
what about investors? Well, like, a lot of times I think people are buying homes now as an investment. I know I am. Like, we're buying homes as an investment, right? And stuff though. So for us, the reality is somebody could be buying that home as an investment and they're going to rent it, and they just as soon rent it back to the person who that just bought
Yes.
it from, right? So I mean, that's kind of a easy thing. They don't even have to move out.
Right. And they can stay there for a couple months and, until they find the home that they want to find. And
Yes,
and
and
that's all
sometimes it's great for the buyer too, because we did that in Clovis, and the owner stayed there for about 3 months, and we had the pool put in, and so she kind of oversaw the pool being put in the backyard, and stayed there while it was getting put in. So it worked out for both of us really well.
And in most cases, previous homeowners staying in the house, you've already seen how they've maintained the house. So your bets are it's going to be pretty decent when you go back into it too. Not saying that there's not that era where there are people that are a little silly, but
Yes.
for the most part, your property is going to be maintained until you can get into it. And it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think those are some good options. So what would you say that if somebody was thinking about selling their house, right? And they're thinking, oh yeah, you know what? I think I want to list my house for sale. Or, they're thinking, oh, I want to purchase a house. What's the first 1 or 2 questions they should ask themselves really when they're thinking about doing it? So when they're sitting down, okay, we're going to have this conversation with their husband, when they're sitting down at dinner and the wife's like, you know what, honey, we've lived here and stuff. I'm sick of living in this house. I want something new. I want something bigger. I want to live over by the water. I want, like, whatever the reasons are, right? That we do, right? What's the questions that we should be asking ourselves?
I think the first question should be, who do you want to use to help you sell your house? And then you get it with them and you partner with them. And then you guys make the plan that needs to be made. Are they going are they 55 and older? In the state of California, you can do a transfer your tax basis 55 and older. So that's going to help older people that are sitting in huge houses that really just want a smaller house, but won't move because their tax basis is going to be raised. Your tax basis isn't going to be raised. So that's what you would do. You would connect with an agent that you're going to use. And then you would connect with me. No, you would connect with the agent that you want to use. And then you're going to sit down and talk about what you want, because also mistakes people make when they go to sell their home is they do all this stuff and none of it's what you needed to do to get the house sold. And you walk in and go, well, we spent X amount of dollars doing this. And you're like, why? Because I'm going to have you do this, So it's always good to bring in that professional and start the process there. Let's talk to an agent. What does it look like? What will we get? What do we need to do?
So what
I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, I need to, paint every room in the house. I need to pull out the carpet. I need to put down hardwood. Oh, everybody thinks that gray's the color now. And
yes, that's what I was going to ask. What should they be doing, or what do you see that they're doing that's just absolutely not?
They just do crazy stuff. Like they'll spend money on, it could be things that you're just not going to get your money back on, like replacing windows. You don't necessarily get your money back on replacing windows. You get your money back on if you remodel a kitchen. You get your money back on if you remodel the main, the primary bathroom, the primary bedroom, your curb appeal. There, you just really have to think about where you're going to get your most money back on and what you're not.
Yes,
and that's when you do need an expert. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because otherwise we're just going and I've seen this before where they're like, oh, well, I just bought all new ceiling fans. Great. I replaced all the light switches, all that stuff. Like, isn't that going to make my house go up $10,000, right? You
be surprised the small things you can do that really increase value and help a house to look updated more. And then but the problem is people go in and they do it and then they put their personality into it, and they're not neutralizing it for a new buyer to come in and do. So they make mistakes with paint color choices, they make mistakes with flooring choices. Lots of times I've gone in and bought flooring for my clients, paint for my client. I just handle it and just say they're going to call you with the bill.
I think that's sometimes what happens. And I know this to be true for me. I'm very visual. And even though I know, because I But when I walk into a house and I'm looking, it's hard for me, I have to admit, that if they went in there and painted all their kitchen cabinets blue, because oh yeah, we saw on HGTV that blue was the thing, and we did it blue. Well, I have to tell you, some people are going to look in and they're going to say, oh, I can change paint color, I can change this. Not everybody's going to say I want to paint cabinets, and not everyone's going to say, oh, I didn't really love that they mixed woods in my cabinets or this, and they did a different color floor. Like, not everybody's going to do that, because I know that there's things for me that are the non-negotiables and whatever, and you don't want to do anything that's really going to make somebody walk in and like, I hate the color blue.
You really do have to
color blue.
Yeah. You have to depersonalize, and not vanilla is the wrong word, but that's the word I'm going to use. Vanillaize it to where it's just a comfortable palette for everybody. And it's when because I can't tell you how many times I've walked in with buyers and they're like, oh, they painted the walls. Why they picked that color? And the room's like, and I'm like, it's just paint. It's just paint. But they don't see it as that. Well,
yeah, some of the stuff is really that. Like, I loved my house when I came in, and they had some light, and then they had one wall that was like dark gray and reclaimed wood. And I mean, I loved all that, but I have to tell you, when I got to the laundry room, I don't know why they did this, but the laundry room was lime green. Like, why all the house was
don't do lime green.
They paint their laundry room lime green, and I walked in, I was like, oh my God, my husband had to be like, that'll be easy to paint. And the realtor was so nice, she's like, oh, don't worry, I'll have that painted back white for you before, like, whatever. And I'm like, great, but I mean, somebody could have looked at that and went, oh no, right? So a realtor also knows how to come in and say,
an agent's going to be able to help you go into, and because this happens a lot, just real quick, is you walk into a home and it's like, you could tell right where they stopped on their remodel. You could tell right where they stopped on, the improving of the house, or pulling it together to be cohesive all the way around. And that's what we come in and do. Look, we got to do things here to have this transition like the rest of your house is, or so there's a lot.
So important.
These are good answers, good things that we need to know. This is very valuable. So Christine, what do you love about your business right now? Like, I mean, there's a lot going on in the real estate business, right? But what do you love? What do you just, right now I'm just so happy.
I like the energy. I like the talking to different people. I like the energy that my staff and my agents bring to the table. I enjoy knowing that I'm helping people get into a home, because I firmly believe that this is their first step into, just their financial well-being. And I don't think you can create that much wealth by renting, where I feel like you can create wealth by owning properties. And so it's just that I get to become part of people's lives too. I mean, I get invited to baby showers, to weddings, to, yeah.
Because you built that relationship, and that again is like what we talked about earlier. You don't want to one-off all the time. Like, this is the person that you want to build a relationship with, who has all these areas of expertise. Now, 5 years from now, when you want to buy your next one, 15 years from now, when you want to downsell, whatever the case may be, right?
Even in between the transaction, after the transaction happens and the agency part of it is over, I'm still taking phone calls for, who do you get to do your flooring? And who do you get for cabinets? Who do you get to do your yard? Who's a good plumber you recommend? I mean, I just have all that information. They're all tried and true. Yeah.
You're a resource. Well, I can just imagine. I know I'm going to say it, Teresa. I just got to plug you. Shameless plug for my co-host right now. So, I mean, I am sure. Like, how many times you refer people over to Teresa?
All the time.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Last year we did 7 or 8 houses with flooring and carpeting, and all the time.
And her own beautiful homes too.
Oh yeah, you did my whole house. My whole house is.
She's got such good taste. She's got better taste than anybody I know. She puts it all together and makes it so comfortable and homey, but yet so beautiful. I really love her. I always tell Terry, I love her taste.
You're too
but
kind.
she does to her homes. Okay, so to our audience listening, and for me and Patty, who could we introduce you to that could move the needle for you, help you in your business in some way?
some like wealth management people would help us, because we could work together with them on helping their clients sell their homes and get the maximum dollar. So that would be a good combination, plus for us to be able to send our clients to them to start helping them manage their portfolios and stuff.
Yes.
Love that. That is really good. I think a lot of times in the wealth management field, people don't realize about how that's going to trickle down when they're gone to their children, and they don't always set that stuff up. So I think having really good relationship there with the real estate agent so that they can help with that, and they have some information. Oh, I could see how that would be really great. Good one.
I have a question I just have to ask. Say you walk into just a beautiful home. It's great. Your clients love the way it looks and stuff, but something feels off. They don't like the energy. What do you do in a case like that? I think I know you've had some of that.
Oh yeah, lots of times.
Bring in a feng shui expert, right?
No, beyond that, there's something.
I put my tennis shoes on and run. If you're not feeling, no, I believe there's a couple things I believe going to sound weird, but I believe that houses wait for people. And I believe that when a person walks into a home, they know that that's their home. And then I do everything I can to ensure that they get the home that they feel like they're supposed to have. I know personally on a lot of houses that I sold that people are supposed to buy, and they walk away from it, and I'm like, okay. And then I waited a couple of days and I go, I think we should go back. And they end up buying the house and are real happy. But I do believe that houses wait for people. And I believe that when a person walks into that house, they know, and if they're feeling a bad energy, they're going to always feel that bad energy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it gets me all choked up, kind of, right? I know that's how I felt every time I picked my house, but yeah. That's nice. I like it. That was a good question, Teresa.
Yeah, what's a good question? Did I answer like you thought I would?
Yes. Thank you.
So Christine, what social media platform are you the most active on? So for everyone that's out there that I know, after listening to this, they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is a person I want to have in my back pocket, right? And build a relationship with. Where should they go to start that process?
We do a lot on Facebook. We have YouTube channels with different things that we put on it. My people do TikTok just for fun videos. I mean, if you guys want entertainment, I have very entertaining agents, let me tell you. So
that's why you love your job.
I do. I could play for you guys some of the videos that my agents do, and just like, I'm surprised they haven't gone viral yet. So.
Well, sometimes people are really, really good at that. Cause I mean, I have to say that, for Teresa, Megan does some really good reels. I mean, like she's really, some people really just, that's who they are, right? And they love that. So that is
Instagram.
Fabulous.
Yeah, we do a lot of Instagram, but you know what? The bottom line is whoever's doing those things, and I tell my agents this, and this goes for everybody out there too, you really get a chance to know who you're working with, personality, when they're doing those videos and stuff. And it's really nice to connect with your realtor on a level of, this lady, she understands me, she understands the needs of my family, and she knows how to have fun. I think if you can't do that, you shouldn't be doing this business.
Yeah, and that's what you're good at, that people connection that you have. It feels like, you're just talking to an everyday person. They have my best interest. I think that's part of your superpower also.
I love that, because it's like kind of what you were saying about that energy when people know. I mean, I really truly believe that, that human connection, when we build that relationship, plus intuition, right? That getting that energy, equals better decision making, right? Follow your heart, listen to your gut, and have an expert next to you, right? So I think that is really, really important. So Christine, thank you so much for taking this time. I know it's a busy time in real estate right now, so we really appreciate you taking the time to come in and kind of educate and entertain and empower everybody, right? So I think that's really great. Thank you so much, Teresa, for being my co-host. You're the co-host.
My pleasure.
For sure. And to our Yes, so to speak, we thank you, but to our audience, we want to thank you too for taking time every single week to tune in, for trusting Teresa and I to know that we're going to bring you the best of the best and give you the information that you need to know. So don't keep us a secret, right? And Teresa, she has an invitation for you.
Thank you, Patty. And a big thank you to you, Christine. So informative and fun too, always. We would like to invite you to join us in our Facebook group and connect with our guest, with us, and the other amazing women that are part of the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula, known as PWN, and now includes members locally, nationally, and internationally too. Go to www.facebook.com/PWN Monterey.
Thank you. So thank you again, Christine. This was so great. We could have kept you forever, right? Lots and lots of questions, but we really appreciate you being here.
I'll come back.
There you go. Part
Great.
two.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa, too.
Thank you, ladies.